is DEA, who we are, and what we do. My name is Rich Lucy, and I am a Senior Prevention Program Manager in DEA's Community Outreach and Prevention Support section. Our panel today represents DEA's professional and technical offices, also referred to as PATCO. Before I introduce our moderator and panelists, let me remind you to please put your phones in either vibrate or silent mode. We have representatives from DEA's Office of Chief Counsel, Office of Investigative Technology, and Office of Financial Systems. Dana Weiser is a unit chief in the Office of Financial Systems section. Dana designs new financial business processes, system tests new UFMS releases, supports the UFMS hotline, and writes user procedures. She began working with DEA in 2009 to implement UFMS when it replaced the old FFS system. More recently, she led the deployment and training of E2 Solutions, DEA's new electronic travel management system, for a number of DEA offices. Eric Hergenroder is a senior attorney in the Office of Chief Counsel in the International Law section. He began his DEA career in the Domestic Criminal Law section, where he provided counsel on issues including search and seizure, investigative authorities, and criminal discovery. Before joining DEA in 2017, Eric served in the Air Force JAG Corps as the Chief of Military Justice at two installations, a trial defense attorney in East Asia, and as counsel to the Air Force Drug Testing Laboratory. Bruce Hill works with the Office of Investigative Technology as an investigative technology specialist. He has experience with overt and covert audio and video surveillance technology. Some of his many areas of expertise include fabrication of specialized concealed accessories, mobile surveillance platforms, and surveillance optics. Bruce takes pride in providing technology that allows the end user to do their job safely and efficiently, ultimately resulting in the eradication of active drug trafficking organizations. Panel moderator Elizabeth Maurer is the curator of education at the DEA Museum. The museum is a unit under the Office of Congressional and Public Affairs, whose staff is made up of professional and technical jobs. Today's panel will spend the next 30 minutes or so discussing DEA's Offices of Financial Systems, Chief Counsel, and Investigative Technology, and how these three branches of DEA that mostly work behind the scenes work collaboratively to support and further the mission of DEA. At the end of the discussion, we will open the floor to questions from both the in-person audience and those watching the live stream. And if you are watching the live stream, please email your questions to the email address on the deamuseum.org homepage. And with that, Liz, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Rich. It's wonderful to see everybody here again for our last panel discussion of the year. We will see you all again sometime in the fall of 2020, I think, when the new museum exhibits open and the auditorium is once again open for programming. But this is a very exciting panel for me because while we've talked to the four core jobs here at DEA, this panel really represents the everybody else, right? So the positions that you find, the professional, administrative, technical, and clerical positions are part of the GS schedule. They're incredibly diverse. There are counterparts for positions in the private sector like attorneys and analysts and accountants. And there are also positions that are highly specific to DEA, like the aviation division or the administrative law judges. And so we're going to find out just the tip of the iceberg about these diverse kinds of careers, and we're going to find out some fascinating things about what the broader group of folks do at DEA, and also some advice as we go along about how people who may be watching the live stream and are thinking about a career at DEA can find a pathway in through one of these PATCO positions. Right? So, and as Rich said, at the end we're going to open the floor for questions. Now, I'm going to ask everyone to begin with to tell you all a little bit about their offices and divisions. And I'm going to start because I am representing today Congressional and Public Affairs. And so Congressional and Public Affairs' mission is to bring the accomplishments and awareness of DEA of controlled substances laws, regulations of the United States, and their consequences to Capitol Hill, to the media, to the general public. And the museum, which is a unit far down the line, interprets, collects, and exhibits artifacts that are related to DEA, our predecessor agencies, to drug policy, and also to drug education. So today's panel discussion is an example of how Congressional and Public Affairs is bringing public awareness of DEA to the world. So let's start with Dana and tell us about finance.
Sure. The Financial Management Division has a few different functions. There's our budget office responsible for developing all DEA's budgets, tracking their execution. There's the Office of Acquisition, so all the procurement and contracting activities at DEA are managed by them, as well as your PCS moves and things of that nature. The Office of Finance is really responsible for overseeing all financial operations, from supporting all of our field fiscal staff, running our financial systems, financial reporting, setting policy, internal auditing. Runs the gamut. And finally, we are now including the Office of Administration, responsible for all of our facilities, property, equipment, records management, that sort of thing.
So this is a complicated operation and very focused on keeping DEA's finances in order.
Yes.
Right? Now, kind of that's an administrative function for the most part, and I think right next to you we have another largely administrative function in the Office of Chief Counsel.
Sure, yeah, so we are a full spectrum legal services team. So we think of us as DEA's law firm. We have folks that work on the administrative law side that support Dana and her team in the Office of Finance. So for instance, working on appropriations law issues or procurement law issues. We have civil litigators, so anytime someone sues DEA, we have people that defend DEA and our interests and our decisions in that area. We have regulatory law attorneys, which is sort of unique to DEA in our function under the Controlled Substances Act to work with and draft federal regulations, then also to defend the decisions if we were to revoke someone's registration. They work in administrative litigation on that side. And then we have operational law attorneys, so who primarily work with special agents and headquarters components, working on issues relating to investigations, criminal law, search and seizure, and the different technological issues that also come up as Bruce will probably talk about. As things change, we have to develop policies, and we advise leadership and decision makers on what those policies should be.
So you are bridging the administrative side, the operational side, but I think, Bruce, you're kind of more firmly in an operational office.
Yes, so the Office of Investigative Technology supports all DEA worldwide with specialized sections of technology to enhance the special agent and the technicians in the field to do their everyday job.
And so we're starting at a high level and kind of drilling down. So tell us specifically what you do. What you're
well, I'm in the audio video section. We're kind of like the fun section. We kind of think ourselves as the fun section within the office, and we fabricate, build custom concealments. We support audio, video, gadgets and accessories, all the way from small little dime-sized stuff all the way up to garments. And it's ever-changing, so we get requirements from the agent in the field or the technicians, and we go forth and either procure or manufacture or fabricate those
items.
Those items,
Right.
yes.
And so you are working very, very closely with other employees at DEA. And I know that Dana, since you run a help desk, don't you, is also in a very customer service position. And can you tell us kind of broadly too what it is that you're doing within your job?
Sure. So I'm in the Office of Finance in the Financial Systems section. So our mission is to support all the financial systems that DEA needs to support all their finance activities. So mainly that is our Unified Financial Management System, or UFMS, That is used by all of our staff, worldwide. So we mainly exist to support our customers who are the fiscal staff out in the field, the ones who are using our system every day to input all the financial transactions that are needed to support DEA's operations. So in particular, we're responsible for testing the system, making sure it's working and configured properly. We can build in some rules and edits to ensure that financially things are being done correctly. And we support a help desk. We write user manuals our users need and communicate out to them as things they need to know.
And I know for those of us who use Euphemus, we appreciate the well-written user manuals, the experiences, and also the great work on the help desk too. Really nice people. So let's go to Eric and tell us what your job is like on a day-to-day basis.
Sure, yeah. So, it was mentioned that I previously worked in the domestic criminal law section, recently transitioned to the international law section. We primarily provide advice to all our country offices, so the folks out in the field when they need legal support, whether it's, and usually it's sort of at the intersection of criminal law and international issues generally. So we provide that support. We also work on interagency agreements, so between, say for instance, the Department of State, Department of Defense. There are a lot of behind-the-scenes agreements to ensure that our operations overseas go off without a hitch, and we can provide that support. And then also we work on non-binding agreements between countries and offices, and otherwise we sit in the enforcement side of the house. So again, it's primarily focused on criminal law and issues that are unique to the international sphere.
Right. Now, we heard in the intro that you were an attorney before you came to DEA. That's the pathway. So how did you decide to go from JAG? Well, I guess, how did you get into JAG in the first place? And then how did JAG lead you to DEA?
Sure, yeah, no, it's a great question. So initially did an internship with the JAG Corps when I was in law school. I absolutely loved it. I always thought that public service was important to me. And took that opportunity to then apply to JAG Corps, was accepted, was a prosecutor for 3 years in the JAG Corps, and then was a trial defense attorney. So obviously a good bit of criminal law experience. Then having served overseas, I got to experience some issues with working with the Department of State and DoD leadership on some what are called status of forces agreement issues. That gave me some experience in, again, the international sphere. But then my last job was providing counsel to the Air Force Drug Testing Laboratory and DoD leadership on programmatic issues and policies regarding drug policy generally. So that sort of made it a very natural transition to come to DEA. I was on a track of moving every 1 or 2 years, and I was like, yeah, I got little kids, and DC's home, so maybe we should think about settling down. And I was lucky enough to be offered a position, and I work with amazing and talented people every day, and really do appreciate the opportunity to be here.
And don't you have a little science in your background too?
I do. So I worked during college. I worked as a laboratory environmental chemistry technician, and I did that actually even after college too. I spent a year in the lab doing chemistry. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So you find that helpful to have kind of both of those spheres?
Absolutely. I mean, especially when we're talking about criminal law, right? And we're talking about drugs. Obviously, having the chemistry background helps me to understand the issues with a little bit more nuance than maybe someone who's only done general criminal law
One
before.
or the other. Right.
Yep.
So a nice convergence of background.
Yep.
Now, Dana, I know that you didn't go to law school, but you could have gone to law school if you wanted to.
Which is much farther than that. There you go. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so after college, where I did major in government as one of my majors, so I always had an interest, in public service. I went to work for a IT company that develops the software upon which our financial system is based. So it let me kind of learn that system from kind of the ground up. Just testing software, it's a great way to learn it, is to have to test it and find problems with it day in and day out. So that was my kind of start in the federal world and in the financial world. From there, I moved on to a contract supporting Department of Justice when they decided they were going to replace every component's financial system with a unified system that we were all going to use. And I started working with all the reps from the various DOJ components to define what their business processes would look like. How are they going to use this system in the best way possible? And eventually I got to know the reps from DEA and really enjoyed working with them. They struck me as different right away, just very smart and passionate and dedicated, and just really can-do attitude. We were going to get this done and get it done well, and it really resonated with me. I got pulled in to assist with DEA's implementation of UFMS about 10 years ago in 2009, and I've never left. Eventually became an employee, and I'm still working in in the systems section. Still working on UFMS. There's constantly changing financial requirements, so I've always busy with things to do. There's new systems. You mentioned E2, or on the intro they mentioned the travel system, something that we got pulled in to assist with because they naturally tie together. So here I am.
And so here you are.
Yeah.
Right. And what I find kind of interesting is that there's all these different pathways to come in, and sometimes it's because you might get recruited into it because your skill set is so needed. And or because you had a military background. We have a lot of folks at DEA who have a military background. And including Bruce has something of a military background. So why don't you tell us how you got here?
Well, I've always been involved in law enforcement. My dad was a retired Maryland State Trooper. My brother's now a retired Prince William County police officer. I was a Deputy Sheriff Corrections Officer in Prince William County myself. Always been involved in some sort of electronics hands-on type environment. I was actually recruited by a special agent that was building a new home in Stafford County, and after a short period of back and forth, here I am 15 years later. So very, very happy to be here.
Well, we're happy you're here
Yes.
too, right? Because normally, you're in a technical position, so you are in an office, or in a workshop, and you're building things. And one of the storylines we've heard going through this panel discussion is about how technology has a profound influence or impact on how DEA does its job. And it's either because the technology is a tool with which the staff does their jobs, or because the technology is a tool that people are using for illicit purposes, and we need to be keeping up with that. And I think that you fall into the operational as technology is a tool, but also something that you're aware of in the greater world.
Yeah. So basically, the audio video unit supplies all the technological gadgets that the special agent uses to enhance their cases and missions and operations, and it's ever changing every day based on technology that is being developed, either whether it's being cellular or the internet. The internet is a huge gateway to a lot of the equipment that we use, as well as cellular right now.
So I imagine it's been a big change from wired telephones to
yes. So when I started in 2003, yes, we did a lot of our stuff via telephone lines. Now it's all wireless technology, it's cellular, and things like that. Yes, even the cell phone size. You can all remember the big brick phones. Now we have basically small computers that allow us to do what we need to do. Yep.
And so what also strikes me is that as our technology at DEA has had to evolve to meet the demands of the job, that we're also playing catch up in some respects to the technology that's being used by everybody else in the real world, including us when we leave. And I think there's some legal implications for that, aren't there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's, like as I describe it, it's like why we have a job, right? Is to advise on some of these gray area issues, right? So a lot of the laws that govern sort of criminal investigations were written a long time ago. And right? So landlines were sort of what were contemplated by Congress at the time. Congress, for a multitude of reasons, are generally reactive, and so they're slow to react in some of these spheres. And quite frankly, they can't react fast enough sometimes in terms of legislation and what governs the intersection of criminal law, investigative techniques, and emerging technologies. So there are a lot of folks within on our operations side and Chief Counsel's office who advise on those exact issues in terms of where's the line in terms of policy, law, regulation between the investigative interest and civil liberties and privacy interests of the individuals. So.
And ever changing, and we have to be reacting to that.
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
And then within DEA as an agency, we have technology that hopefully is helping us do our jobs more efficiently and better. My first job out of graduate school, we were actually using the 3-color carbons to write things down, which are in some respects a museum artifact that we might like to have on display someday for those who don't know what those are. And I imagine that since you came in with software and that technology is a huge part of why you're important here at DEA.
Yeah, absolutely. With the new UFMS, when it was new in 2009, we immediately tried to take advantage of what the technology offered, which was greater than what the previous FFS, for those who've been around for a while, that system was very kind of old school mainframe based system. So UFMS allowed us, for example, to instead of pushing as much paper as we used to, we were enabled people to scan their paper forms and then keep them as an electronic record in the system, and hopefully reduce the amount of paper files we need to keep. As we move forward, the Office of Finance is pursuing an initiative to hopefully automate all of our forms, turn them into full electronic forms, and eliminate the need for paper altogether. Something we're looking at for the future. So just trying to keep us moving forward. And obviously the E2 travel system has eliminated all of the paper that we used to rely upon and wet signatures. We're trying to move away from that and into the future.
Yes, into the 21st century,
Right.
and to keep everything also very trackable. I think that at one point we were talking and you said that it helps eliminate mistakes when people are retyping things, to take out the retyping part.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
When you have to take a piece of paper that someone wrote on and then have to re-enter it, every time there's a change of entry like that, and you're adding points of entry, you're going to add the opportunity for mistakes. So the electronic versions, along with the edits and controls we can build into our systems, hopefully reduce mistakes and errors. Yes.
And we want to avoid mistakes, and one of the big reasons for that is because we're a federal agency, so we're a federal entity, and we have to operate within the law. And I know that we all have different intersections with it. I'm going to go back to Dana, and if you can talk about appropriations law and how that governs how you do your job.
Yeah, I know just enough about that to be dangerous, but yeah, I'll really leave that to you.
Probably more than me, to be honest.
But it's true. I mean, and again, one of the benefits of the system and what we try and build into our system is it gives us the ability to build in edits and rules, because we do need to ensure that we are upholding the principles of appropriations law, that we're guarding against fraud, waste, and abuse. We want to enable people to do what they need to do in the system to support the mission, but we also do have to abide by the rules about what our appropriated dollars are, how we're allowed to spend them. So some of it is, just the user aspect, the human aspect, but we can also build some things into the system which is, helpful for people and help control how they spend and ensure we're doing it, against the letter of the law.
Right. So we're trying to do it the right way.
Correct. Yeah.
And I know that with what you're doing is that you're also trying to do things the right way, because
Correct.
it is important to DEA.
Yeah, so we work very closely with Eric's group, especially on the international side of things. We want to make sure that we don't get in trouble exporting equipment or using equipment inappropriately in those foreign countries that we operate in. So, yeah, we do reach out to Eric's section a lot and make sure that we're within the confines of the law.
Well, and then particularly because the DEA is operating within foreign countries at their invitation. So that's a whole nother level, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And and I think about that question in terms of why it's important to operate within the law. Obviously, I'm biased. Of course, I think it's important to operate within the law. At the micro level, you might have a case dismissed, right? You might have evidence suppressed because it was obtained in violation of someone's rights. But I think more on the macro level, you think about like what we as society are, what we as Americans are, and what we've built in like this great experiment in democracy. It's a social contract, right? We've agreed that we are going to operate under these rules and regulations, and we have the Constitution, right, which is this remarkable document that was created that tries to balance those civil liberties, those privacy interests against the federal government, right, and what the federal government can do. So we're right at that line, and so everything that we do, we have to make sure as an enforcement arm of the federal government that we operate within the bounds of the Constitution and statutes and cases and the rules and regulations that we've agreed as a society that we're going to follow.
So I'm going to ask you to build on that to an even higher level. How does Office of Chief Counsel really support DEA's mission?
Yeah, so in a couple different ways. So I say we're the defenders of the mission in some sense, so we're civil litigators, administrative litigators. They're defending the decisions that the agency has made for this reason or that reason. And then I think we're also counselors on the enforcement side in particular. Again, there's a lot of gray area because there's just isn't law that speaks specifically on an issue. So we have to counsel and we have to say, hey, decision makers, here are the two ends of the spectrum, and you can choose, in the middle, and you can choose your level of risk. And I think that's important for us to be able to provide that candid advice and to be able to research and look into the issues and sort of forecast what may or may not happen.
I'm going to go right down the line and take us up again. And how does finance support DEA's mission?
Well, everyone needs money to do their jobs, for all of our operations, obviously. So, we are, again, there to make sure they, in formulating their budgets, they're getting what they need, and for us in finance, that as they spend that money, they're able to do that in a way that gets them what they need, but also so they don't get in trouble either, that they're following all the rules they need to follow, from the gamut of, those, from, you need to ping a phone number, or from large-scale procurements to, agents need to go on a trip. Everything costs money, and we, allow the fiscal staff to, give them what they need so they can ensure the agents can, and everyone, not just the agents, but all of the different jobs can have what they need to do their jobs.
Yeah. And it sounds like accountability is a big piece of supporting the mission as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, that's part of, as they're stewards of our fiscal responsibilities, we need to make sure that we are it's the taxpayers' money, it's not our money, so we need to make sure that we are safeguarding it appropriately, and again spending within the rule of law, while also ensuring everyone has what they need to carry out their mission.
And I'm going to ask, how are you supporting DEA's mission?
Well, like I said, I'm going to, on the audio video side, like I said, we kind of take a pride in that we have all the cool gadgets, but all that in a whole Office of Investigative Technology supports basically every piece of technology that enhances the special agent's case, all the way down to the operation and mission level on a daily basis, and we help collect data and evidence to build those cases and support the rule of law. So
right.
put these guys where they need to be.
Okay. I have a couple more questions for the panel, but before I give the panel their last questions, I want to remind everyone who is watching the live stream that if you would like to email a question to be asked, if you could please email it now to the email address on the homepage of deamuseum.org, and Kenna will receive that and she will pass on your questions to the panel. So here's my last round of questions for you all, and we'll just go back down this way. what advice would you have for somebody who was interested in following your footsteps to DEA?
I would say start early. Get involved in your school STEM programs is a big way to do this. Get involved in building projects with your hands. If you're going down the college route, make sure it's relevant to law enforcement, legal, accounting. DEA has very many backgrounds you can go into. Just have fun, think outside the box, and make it yours.
Make it yours. Excellent. What's your advice?
Similar, I think, as far as a degree, I mean, it could run a gamut, but obviously, finance, accounting, information systems are most relevant. I incidentally did not have any of those degrees, but, anything business or government related certainly relates. And after that, in whatever job experience you're honing, I agree, think outside the box, like critical thinking, being able to, do analysis and problem solve are huge components of what we do, and just trying to think of better and unique ways to solve problems.
So be proactive.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so obviously going to law school, probably step one after college. Thereafter, most folks they kind of come from two different backgrounds. So the folks that work on the civil litigation and administrative law side, they have a very diverse background. They come from private practice. They come from other government agencies, and those are sort of the very transferable skills, right? So if you do federal procurement law, you could probably do that for DEA. You could do it for FBI. You could do it for the Department of Transportation. And then on sort of the operational law side, it's a little bit different. Most folks have a criminal law background as state or federal prosecutors or JAGs, and my big advice, I guess, for anyone looking to come into this career field is to really sort of bloom where you're planted. That was advice that was given to me a long time ago, because what we're looking for is potential, right? People that are eager to be here, that want to learn, but also have sort of the requisite experience to issue spot and provide counsel. Because again, it's about the people you work with, and if you have a good team, it's a force multiplier. So I would say bloom where you're planted, have a long-term strategic goal, but also take a detour if you need to, if it seems interesting and you think you can do it, and if it's going to lead to future success.
I think that's great advice from everyone.
I totally agree with that.
And I think just to build in a division that talks to the public, that it's a good idea to have experience talking to the public and to have a background that's applicable to what the job is that you're applying for. And if you're looking down the road, maybe not right now, but it's not a bad idea to start looking at job announcements and see where your gaps are and what kinds of skills that you need to pick up between now and the time that you actually apply, and then go out and get them. All right. So I want to thank you all, and I'm going to now turn it over to the audience. If anyone has questions, if you could please raise your hand and look to the microphones on either side of the auditorium. And I'm going to ask you to use the microphones because the folks who are watching the live stream will want to hear your question.
We can start with one from the internet.
Great.
What is your favorite aspect of your job?
Who does that want to go to? Anyone?
Everybody.
Everybody. All right. So who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Interaction between just about everybody within our agency, from the special agent and what he's doing to, the new students that are just coming in. So the interaction between everybody would probably be the best thing I like about my job.
That's why he was volunteered to come here, is because he interacts well with us.
I like feeling like I'm helping others do their jobs better, or figuring out better ways to make them more productive, make their lives easier with their jobs. So whether it's figuring out a new way to do something or on how we communicate it out, I've done training, all those things I think sort of contribute to just enabling others to be better. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, for me, it's probably the opportunity to continue to serve. And what I mean by that is that, everyone has good and bad days professionally, right? Whether you work at a big law firm or you work for a federal agency, there's going to be tough times. But at the end of the day, you know that the people you work with and the mission and the agency you work for is dedicated to preserving, the health and safety of Americans. That's it for me. So I can, sleep soundly at night knowing that, I worked hard. It may not have worked out that day. It might have been tough, but at the end of the day, you're contributing to something that's greater than yourself.
Actually, I have one more, I'm sorry.
Okay,
It's also, and I feel like we've all touched on this, but DEA has amazing people. I mean, the people we've all think this about, we all have the best, our offices are just full of really hardworking, dedicated people who I couldn't do what I do if I didn't have them there supporting me. So I think you said it's part of the people you're with, and for sure, it's just, I've worked at a few different agencies in my career, and DEA for me is stands out as far as just the people you're with and their dedication to their job. So it makes it fun to come to work every day.
And it's being able also to advocate, your specific job, like Dana said, to help others. So that's a big, smile on your face at the end of the day when it all comes together and it works.
Mm-hmm. Do any questions in the audience? Okay.
This is for Bruce. You had mentioned earlier that you had some kind of fun, cool tools that you use, and you mentioned clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just curious if you could expand on what your favorite things are and maybe what they were, that without giving away any secrets.
So we do all kinds of cool things with clothing and backpacks and purses and things like that. So we'll actually get those from the field agent or the technicians, and we'll custom fabricate those. We have about a half dozen or so people that have actually been through sewing class. And even about myself a little bit more deeper is my mom was a seamstress, so this, to bring that in and to do something like that is pretty cool. So yeah, we have fun with it. So yeah.
So we have very diverse skill sets here. Everyone from seamstresses to systems and analysts. Right?
Q over here.
Yeah.
All within one person. Any other questions in the auditorium? All right. She's going to check the internet now too. All right. Well, I want to thank all of you for coming today to support your team members and coworkers here on the panel, and especially because you all have ended our series really, really wonderfully on a real high note, and you are representing so many of us and so well. So thank you for coming today to talk to us. Thank you for coming to support us. This panel discussion will be available on the internet today, so you can watch it via the museum's webpage at deamuseum.org, and then on into the future. Please do come back in September of 2020 to see the new museum exhibits. We're going to be excited to see all of you at our opening as well. Okay. Thank you all. Did a great job.